Erick Erickson's here, nationally syndicated radio host, author of the best conservative political newsletter in America. All right. You talk to these folks all the time. What's their plan? What is going to get accomplished? I can't figure it out.
Look, they don't have one. This was a personal vendetta against by Matt Gaetz. He had 7 others who wanted to watch the world burn. You've got a 200-plus Republican conference that refused to go along with it, but because of a 4-seat majority, these 8 were able to hijack the process. The problem here is, contrary to what Gaetz said, people need to realize Gaetz engineered for Kevin McCarthy to have to rely on Democrats so that he could put this forward and argue McCarthy was siding with Democrats. So Republicans actually had a plan to cut government by 8% outside of defense. Gaetz said he would go along with it and then help scuttle it. So it forced McCarthy in the continuing resolution to rely on Democrats. And then, having scuttled the plan, Gaetz says, well, he relied on Democrats. We need to oust him. And he got 7 other bomb throwers to help him throw the bombs. So they don't have a plan. They don't have a name. They don't have anyone to move forward. And you had a really good deal for conservatives in what Kevin McCarthy agreed to become Speaker. That's now out the window.
Look, to be fair, I think Matt Gaetz has some legitimate grievances in terms of how things have been handled. And I think I heard you nod along and agree. My question about this, just in terms of what matters to Americans, is that things don't happen here in Washington. None of the problems that matter to Americans are going to get fixed or any work on it. And Republicans look like they can't even manage 218 votes or 220 votes in the United States House, much less manage the country. My question is, where is Donald Trump in this? He says he's the leader of the Republican Party. Kevin McCarthy was his pick. Matt Gaetz is sycophantic to Donald Trump as you can possibly be, and yet there's no leadership from the leader of the Republican Party.
Well, yeah, but he was tied up in court today trying to save his businesses. It is very notable that Kevin McCarthy, of course, famously switched for Trump. He was very critical of him after January 6th, realized Trump was going nowhere, suddenly became very sycophantic. Trump backed him for Speaker in 2023. And was nowhere to be seen today. It was very notable he refused to speak up about this, letting this play out. Now, the question is, will these House Republicans want to go along with some new person for Trump? There's no leadership here because this was going to happen anyway. Gaetz would not have changed his mind if Trump came out for McCarthy, so he might as well have let it play out. I mean, why help these guys when they're grabbing anvils and jumping into the ocean?
Yeah, look, and no, you can't blame Democrats. And I had a very senior member of Republican leadership who was very angry. He said, look, when we were in the minority, none of us would have voted to save Nancy Pelosi. So there you go.
Exactly.
Look, everybody in Washington gets wrapped up in this kind of stuff and why it matters. And now the House can't do anything because no bill can be brought to the floor without a speaker, blah, 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 blah. And I wonder, to the 330 million Americans who are not in Congress and the 328 million who don't live in the District of Columbia, thus they live in reality, because D.C. is, 80 square miles surrounded by reality. Why does this really matter other than, and maybe the answer is nothing, other than it just proves Republicans can't manage themselves?
That's the biggest issue, and it really doesn't otherwise affect people. This Congress, largely given the divisions, can't do a lot. However, this does begin to matter in 43 days because the clock is ticking on the continuing resolution headed towards another government shutdown. The Republicans in the House can't negotiate a spending package with the Senate without having a speaker in place. It took multiple days in January to come up with a speaker. So you throw a new speaker in. Now you've got 30 days to negotiate. Matt Gaetz's whole grievance is that McCarthy wasn't doing enough for conservatives. You throw a new speaker into the mix, it's going to be hard to do anything for anyone with the clock ticking on a new continuing resolution.
Yeah, look, and you got Democrats and the media just sitting there kind of watching it all and gleefully allowing Republicans to fight with each other. All right, Erick, thank you very much. I appreciate, by the way, the dinner-friendly conversation we had opposed to your more direct way of describing the situation in the note this morning. Although I woke up to a good chuckle with how you described it. It's good to see you, my friend.
Thank you. Take care.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.